Alrighty, we are back. We had little technical difficulties, but we got it sorted. So we are working on the Darren kit, open-dyed Darren kit for a customer friend. And I am at the washes. There's a red wash and then there's a blue wash. Let me just make sure that's true. Yes, because we're doing the newborn tutorial that I found and wrote down notes to. I tweaked it a little bit here and there. This one is actually through heat set paints and I've adapted it to air dry paints. So we have our bowls. We are going to put our distilled water in one, and we are going to put our other one up here because we're going to use this, and we're going to put water in it, regular water, so we can rinse off our brushes. We are going to get our sponges that we've ripped. We've got a few of them left. I don't know how many that we're going to use for this. Now, I have two colors here. I have a maroon, which is what I consider Genesis Red 02. And then we have the other red, which is a crimson red. It's really, really pretty. I don't know if you can see that really well. It's not quite like a true red. It's crimson. It's more of a duller of a real big red. It's kind of in between. So this is the color that I'm using, the red, and this is the maroon. I consider Red 02, and this one I've labeled Genesis Red. So it's the same shade color as the Genesis Red. So for preemie, you would use this color, okay? For newborn, you would use the lighter color. Now, she's already told me she'll want him dark, dark. So we're not going to use the maroon. I may change my mind depending on how it looks. We will see, because we don't want him to be like a beet red, beet red. You don't want him fire engine red. You just want a red tint to him. So it's very important that you do this very carefully, because the red and the blue, when we get there, stain the vinyl. So that's why you have to be careful. So I am starting out, I got my half a teaspoon of water here. I'm gonna mix this up a little bit. My emulsion, this is what you put in it so the paint will stick to the vinyl. And you only need 1 drop. I put 1 drop. That's what it says, I think. You can apply it to surface to achieve effect. Clean up with soap and water. Make sure you close it. See, I just use it in the actual water, and I stir it around. And I don't know what kind of chemical is in it. I have no idea. It doesn't smell. You mix that in so it makes it a cloudy mixture. It's going to make it a cloudy mixture. And that does change the color of the paint. So be aware of that. I used to use the glass and tile medium. I would put just same thing. I would just put a little drop in with the paint. And if you can find it, great. I have 5 bottles left and I use it very sparingly. I don't put it in my paints now. I got this instead. And then you're going to take your red. This is your red. Let me see your red. Your red. And my brush is already wet. You want to kind of dry it off a little bit. And you can use the side of the bottle, or if you've got enough paint in here, you can drop it up here so you can see it. And I'm going to use just one side of the brush. I may end up deciding I want more, but I don't think so, because I know that this red is red. And we just want an undertone. So half a brush is good for this. Let me see if I can get you to see what it looks. See, it's kind of see-through-ish, but you can still see it. Okay. It looks like it's thick because of the color. It's really not. If you spoon it up, it's really not. And if I put it on the paper, it's kind of see-through, you know. It's kind of like a rosy kind of color. Put your cap back on your paint because you don't want it to dry out. Okay, and because this is a newborn kit, you want to make sure that you do not have paint on your hands when you're mixing and touching the kit. It will stain it. I can't reiterate that enough. You want to be very, very, very careful. You got your sponge. Make sure you have your little brush so you can get out of the lines and stuff, and you got your little teeny one to get out of little lines. So we are going to do this very, very sparingly. So I start in the back of the head because that's going to tell me if I need to do a little bit darker, or if I'm good. One, I'm going to put the color down here on the rim. I'm going to kind of pounce it. And it doesn't really, you can test it that way, you know. So here you go. Can you see that? Can you see that little red? Yep. And to me, that looks really good. Well, I already know what I want it to look like. So I am only going to do this is different than the flush layer, okay? I'm only going to do a little bit of this because I don't want it running, because the longer you leave this on, the longer it stains. So you don't want it to stain tremendously. So, and we may end up doing 2 coats of this. It depends on how I like it. And I will do I want it to have a red stain look. So this is how red it is, but it's not how red it is in person, right? So I'm putting it under here so I can see what it does to the vinyl. I'm going to do the whole head, and then I'm going to send a picture to his mama before I go any further. I am really working close with her because she has had a bad experience, and I don't want her to have a bad experience with me. I don't normally do custom kind of stuff. She's letting me paint it the way I want, but it is kind of a custom. You know, she's kind of said, you know, she doesn't want him dark. She doesn't want him really red. I mean, she's told me, you know, what she is preferring, and I will do my dangdest to do that for her. Also, you can go in and look at my dolls that I've painted and see. Now, there's going to be paint on this soaked up into it because it is water, and you can go over where you were, like that. So there's another piece of paint of the flush color that was in there. Now see, this is what I'm talking about with the pooling. See that? We don't want that. And you don't want it underneath the ears. So you want to take that brush and soak up that paint. I mean, you want the paint in there, but you don't want it to be nasty. Now, I can see a difference. I don't know if she's going to see a difference or if you guys can see a difference. There's the non-painted side. Here's the painted side. You can see the red tint. So, and we want to do a little bit of red down on the bottom. So you can see what color that is. Okay. And I'm repouncing on the ears because I like the ears to be kind of it's harder to get the ears a certain color. So I hope that they stain really well. Okay. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it really well. Okay, so I'm going to paint the rest of him. Like I said, you want to do this in sections because you don't want the paint to go all over the place because you only have so much time to get it off. And you don't want it to stain too long because like I said, it does stain. So there's the red, see? But he's not going to be that red. He is going to just have that shade of red. The reason it looks like it's really red is because it's mixed with water. And we are pouncing it off, see? And I will show you once I pounce it all what it looks like. Let's get his ears. For some reason, when I do ears, the paint, it doesn't matter what I put on, what I don't put on, it tends to not stick very well. I don't know why. You want to make sure you don't get any extra stuff. You want to get that out of the, get this from behind the ears. Inside the ears, you don't want that. You want the color, but you don't want the pooling. Okay. Pounce it again. So you've got it out. Now, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell a difference. I can tell a difference because I'm sitting here. Okay. Now, here's the front of his head. Okay. There's the back, so you can see the red. Okay, there's the front. You see the towards the side. See the color difference? It's not traumatic, but it is. You know, you can see down here now. Big difference. Okay, so let's do the rest of them. Always make sure you mix your paint up. And we are going to do same as we did with the flesh, ear to ear, ear to ear, okay, to the forehead, to the top of the eyes. And it's very important that you do it this way because if you just put paint all over and then start pouncing, it's going to set in really, really quickly. And we really don't want that. This is not my kit to be messing with. I'm not going to mess with them. So here's the red, see? See the difference? The red? And we're going to pounce. And it's amazing that the red stays on the kit. And like I said, it stains it. And I'm going to show you once I get his face to where it needs to be. I'm going to get this red off. And because we're going close to his ears again. And then you, once it's in front of you, you can tell where you need to meet it with the other side because it'll be a little bit fleshier, flesh colored, you know. Want to make sure you get that off, get that off. You counts it real good. Okay. And you're going to do the exact same thing to the limbs. To each of the limbs, you're gonna, and if you're not happy with it and you want it redder, you can do another one of it. You can go through it again and do it again. But I'm gonna show you. Okay. So the top of his head, you can see the red tint. From the nose down is not done yet. You can see the top of his head, right? The side. You can see the red tone. See, from here to here. Okay. And it's not really that traumatic. See, you can see his face. See his face? Underneath that light's not good. See, right here is perfect. See, he's a little red. From the nose down, he's just flush. From the nose up, you can see the red tint. See the red tint? So it's just a very, very slight, and in some spots it's going to look a little bit darker because of how the red took to the vinyl. And there's not really a whole lot we can do with that. You can try. I mean, I try to get it as matchy as I can. There's going to be some spots that are darker than others. Your skin is not perfect. So it's going to be the kind of the same thing, you know. Your skin is, you know, different parts of his, and I really want to get the red inside his mouth because it needs to be pink. And it's going to be hard to get that in there without making a mess everywhere. Okay, so here's his, okay. So now we're gonna get rid of this. Make sure you keep going by the ears because this will run down into the ears and into the eyes, and we want to get that out. Now you can keep cleaning off your sponge by dipping it down in here so it takes the water out, and we want to get the majority of the water out, and then we can go back with the brush to clean it up. Okay. And you, because he's got deep things in here. He's got deep, see that? You don't want that, okay? Same with his mouth. See, it's in there. You do not want that. You want that out. Take the brush, brush it through. Make sure there's nothing behind the ears, inside the eyeballs here. I don't care about inside the eye because the eye is going to be in there. But you want to get inside the nose, around the nose, corner of the eyes. You want to get that out. Now when we do his nose, now we're going to keep this red for a little bit. I use it for creasing, but I'm going to make it a little bit darker. Seeing it's already stained his lips, good. And some of the tutorials I have, when you get to the red, that's when you do your creases and all that. But we're not going to do that with this one. We are just going to do the all over part, and then we'll go back when we're done with the washes and finish that up. Get that out of there. He just looks like he's been out in the sun a little bit. Should we get all this stuff off? And your brush, your sponge is still going to have color on it. So you can go back through once you pounce it if you want his lips to be a little bit more red. And his nose to be a little bit more red. And his ears. I do that usually because, like I said, it's hard to get it to stay that color. Okay, let me see. Alright. Make sure you go over it. Make sure you get the dust off. I'm not really liking the top of his forehead too much. So I'm going to add a little bit more here because it still looks kind of fleshy toned. I don't know why the paint didn't stick there, but we'll do it again just to make it stick a little better, blend in a little better. And once you do this, you'll see it as you go, you know, how you want it to look. You want it to blend in. That blends in way better, okay? And like I said, sometimes, I don't know why that side is taking the red better than other parts. I don't know. It happens. It's nothing that you're doing wrong. It's just that it's the vinyl. It's the vinyl. Now I put red down here. Yep. Okay, so here's his face, and you can see him. He's kind of trying to get it in a good light. Too much light. You can't see. So you can see down here. That's his original color, and now he's got a pink tint, and that is the red wash. Okay, now this was 20 minutes just on the head. So I am not gonna, a lot of these I'll do on the head, so you see the head, not so much the hands and the limbs, because once you do the head, it's going to be the same thing for the limbs, okay? And we still need to do the blue layer. So, and that is the 2 washes. You can do a flesh tone in between these layers if you want. So if you did it too red, you can tone it down with a green wash. It'll tone it down. Or you can just put another flesh layer over it. It kind of tones it down. But yeah, he's looking kind of cute. So that is the red wash for him. And I will do, well, I guess I can show you the best way is the limbs aren't done. So here's the color difference. Here's the color difference. I don't know if you can tell. These lights are putting too much light on the kit. Let's see if I can turn you a little bit so we're not so light. All right. So here's the light colored, and then there's his face. So hopefully you can see a difference. See, you see, it's just subtle. So he does look good. He does look good. So, alrighty, we will see you. I'll come on when I'm done with the limbs and show you them, and then yeah, then we'll do the blue layer. Okay, we finished that, and there's the limbs right here. Here's the head, and you can see a pink tint. So now we're going to be onward to the bluing. So I will be back with that.